We have with us now Mr. Diwakar Gupta, Chief Financial Officer of India's largest bank, State Bank of India. Morning, Mr. Gupta. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Gupta, what's the update on government capital infusion? Have you got any firm dates from the ministry?
No, I think the position remains what it was, that we are definitely going to get capital. It will be in the range of about 6,000, 5,000 to 8,000, and it will definitely come before 30th of March. Other than that, there has not been any specific development yesterday or in the last couple of days.
Have you got any indications on at what rate will Government of India be infusing capital?
No, I think the SBI guidelines are clear on that. It will be a private placement, and therefore it will be governed by the private placement norms, which are to say the higher of the 6-month average or the 15-day average.
But in principle, how much is the Ministry or the Government of India ready to dilute their stake in SBI?
Well, right now they will be putting in money, and if that money is sufficient for us to be at 8% Tier 1 on 31st March 2012, then we don't need to raise any more money. So, in fact, the government stake will actually be enhancing rather than diluting. It should go up to about 63 or 64% from the current 59.4.
And you're saying that you would not need any more capital for, let's say, the next 4 or 5 quarters then?
Well, no, we'll need capital definitely next year. But okay, we don't need capital before 31st March. So we don't need to rush in for a remainder of the offering for the 40% that we could raise otherwise to maintain the government's current shareholding.
What is the targeted capital requirement for next year, Mr. Gupta?
Well, we had earlier estimated we would need about 8,000 crores to be at 8% Tier 1. But depending on the actual credit growth and some other capital saving measures that we have initiated internally, maybe 6,000 crores will be good enough.
Mr. Gupta, at this juncture, are you both happy and slightly worried? Happy because finally government has in principle decided to infuse capital, but worried because Kingfisher now becomes a big fat NPA for SBI?
Well, to take your first part of the question first, we were really never worried at any point in time. There has been a lot of curiosity around whether capital is coming or when it is coming. But the government has clearly communicated in writing more than 2 months ago that it is committed to ensuring we remain at 8% Tier 1 during this financial year. So it's an issue of timing, and we are not in a cash crunch because of which we would want the capital to come in, very quickly or anything like that. As far as Kingfisher is concerned, certainly it is a large account. Therefore, it becomes an NPA. It does impact all our ratios. It impacts our profitability. It impacts, in a way, the image of the bank in terms of its non-performing assets. But I guess everybody is right now trying his best, including the promoters, to see how the account can remain standard and be conducted while the airline gets back to health.
So, Mr. Gupta, for the quarter gone by, would you be making some specific provisioning under the NPA category when it comes to a Kingfisher airline loan?
Well, if the account is an NPA, definitely provisioning will need to be done as per the laid down norms, both for the investments and for the credit.
So as per your understanding, based on 31st of December 2011, would you be classifying Kingfisher Airlines loan as a NPA? And if yes, how much are you willing to provide for that loan?
So I think the position as it stands today is that yes, the account appears to be an NPA on 31st December. And the exact amount of provisioning will need to be worked out because, it's not a straight, simple formula. There are different weights assigned to different kinds of debts, and that will need to be calculated.
Okay. Having seen the experience with Kingfisher Airlines, Mr. Gupta, are you kind of reassessing some of your big clients, and checking for their creditworthiness at this point? What is the outlook that you can offer in terms of the NPA levels that you perhaps clock in this quarter and in the coming few quarters, given the exposure to sensitive sectors like power and infrastructure?
No, what has happened to Kingfisher is, I think, really indicative of the fact that a prolonged downturn puts a lot of pressure on players who may be marginal or who are battling it for some time already. Now, I think in a situation like that, the bank really has no option but to go along with those who are viable and help them. Yes, we just get a little more worry about fresh exposures. So, as you know, our guidance for growth this year is already 16%. We are not pushing even the 16% aggressively because quality comes before volumes. But on existing borrowers, really there is very little choice. And if they are inherently viable, I guess the banks have the responsibility of ensuring that they give them whatever mitigation is possible within the framework of the rules.
So are you indicating, Mr. Gupta, that SBI will struggle to maintain a credit growth of 16% also for this financial year?
Well, I'm not saying we'll struggle to, but yes, as of now, 16% certainly will not be bested.
Right.
We should be close to 16%. We'll try to reach as close to it. But in this environment, as a management, we would not like to push for any numbers. It has to be, very sound selection because obviously industry is facing a stress and that is quite evident across sectors.